morning. Well, it's Tuesday morning after the bank holiday. Back on the shallow lagoon. I'm right up the top end, nearest to the out of bounds, a swim called the Hole in the Bush. There's the out of bounds trees there. Not normally one of my favourite swims because it's so tight and the fish want to stay behind those trees the whole time up here, which is the out of bounds bit where they know they're safe. And just coming past this tree here into my swim, it's almost like there's an invisible rope leading across there. They know exactly where they can come to. But I see a few fish up here yesterday, so I got in here last night, put out quite a big bed of chopped hybrid out there. Thought I'd give them something to sort of tempt them out. And woke up 3 o'clock this morning to keep the swans off with the old laser pen. I've been hovering over the rods from 3 AM, it's about 7 now. Half an hour ago I had my first bite from the shallow lagoon in just over 6 months, and it lasted 1 second and then a bloody hook pulled. It is a bit of a hit and hold swim, but it was well away from any danger, and literally just hooked into it, rod bent over and sprung back and it'd gone. I'm absolutely gutted. Can't believe it. Especially having hovered from 3 in the morning in the pitch dark. It's actually quite chilly this morning. I haven't moved. This is the furthest I've been from my rods, which is that far, about 4 foot. Well, despite all that bubbling and fizzing and stuff going ahead, I didn't get another chance. And today, summer has arrived. It's absolutely glorious. It's belting straight into my bivvy. It's absolutely cooking in there. Padwire's found a little half shady spot. And I reckon it's all over for today. But I've got tonight as well. So I'm going to stay put, which is very rare for me, and do a little bit more of the same, a bit more bait out there, and see if tomorrow morning I can actually land one. But in between now and then we've got a long day ahead, so I'm going to wind in, have a wander about, might even pop over the marina and treat myself to a shower. So, I'll see you all later. Well, this is all a bit industrious, isn't it? Hey, doing my diary piece on my laptop, cooking a barbecue, fishing, obviously, in the loosest sense of the word, and shortly, just be having a little speckled hen. Couple of burgers, see a batter of rolls, some new lovely garlic mayonnaise that Tetley bought me, yum, beefsteak tomatoes on the vine. It's all looking good, looking very good indeed. Right, where were we? Currently eating a Chinese takeaway over at the quarry when I was filming for the TF Gear DVD, annual DVD, which is out. When's that out? It's on the June cover of Total Carp actually, which is not very long. I'm just writing a bit of an account of it. Inspiration. Now I remember. down, have a cup of tea. If I stick the kettle out there in the shop, that'll make me look proper carpy, innit? All I need's a beard, a woolly jumper, and I'll be carpy as. Well, it might look like the same setup, but it is in fact 4 days later. I left the camera running last week, hoping to film a take. I was sure I was going to get a take on that second morning, and unfortunately the battery ran flat. Both my batteries ran flat, but I did get a take, typically 15 minutes I suppose after my battery had run out. Same rod, the one I was expecting, pulled up tight, lifted up into it, determined that everything was going to go right this time. Rod tip just pulled forward a little bit and ping, he was gone. So 2 bites in 6 months, both gone. I was absolutely destroyed. I couldn't stay, I had stuff I had to do at home, so I had to pack up and leave the swim. A guy moved in after me, obviously, you know, as you would, and he had 3 bites in 4 days. He landed 2 of his. He lost one, obviously, had a 20-pound mirror and a fish known as the long common at 33.5 pounds, I think it was. So he had a blind in time. I've turned up today, turned up early, very early. The missus could tell that my mind wasn't at home, it was down here, so she said to me, you know, go fishing, that's where you want to be, go fishing. So bless her, I did. Chucked the stuff in the motor, got down there, just came round the corner. The guy that was in this swim was due to go home tomorrow, but it's been so hot. He'd just been cooked through and he'd had enough, and he was just packing up as I came round the corner. So I thought, that'll do. The lake's really quite busy. It's still the weekend. Don't usually fish weekends, but so not really seen half the people that are on here at the weekend. But yeah, it's busy. Managed to get straight back in the swim I wanted, and I've got a few days ahead of me now, so feeling quite confident. The only one thing that sort of makes me wonder a little bit is that this weekend, since the sun's been out and since it's warmed right up, and it has warmed right up, we're talking 24, 25 degrees, a few fish have been caught out in the open water, and a couple of hours ago, I haven't been here very long, a couple of hours ago, Alex, one of the other members, had a fish known as the tench, and from right down the other end in the open water, and that's the fish that I was videoing, or one of the fish I was videoing in the out of bounds the other week in the last vlog. One with the little sunken eyes, sort of sits in the water, you can tell him really easy, he's got very dark eyes, and he sits with his head upwards all the time. He was just under 30 pounds, I think. Yeah, I think it was just under 30 pounds, which is about what we put him at. And he was one of the sort of fish that was the deepest into the out of bounds all the time, every time I went and looked. So I was getting a little bit dubious as to if they'd all left. You know, I just turned up, got the swim I want, and they might have all gone. The guy who was in here didn't get a bite this morning, and that's the first morning it hasn't done a bite for 6 mornings. So it's one of them. So anyway, left my gear in the swim, went up the shops, got my supplies, came back, and I've just seen 2 go right across the spot, just bobbing their backs, just touching the surface. So there are still some fish here. I think they're a lot more splintered than they were. Probably fish sort of, say, all over the lake at the moment. I'm hoping with the extra angling pressure out there and a couple getting nabbed, they might move their way back in towards the out of bounds anyway and through my swim. I wouldn't normally bother fishing it in the day, but like I say, I've just seen fish right on the spot, so I've just slung one rod out there. I think I'm only actually going to fish the whole session with one rod. The second rod's just for the sake of it really, you know which rod's going to get the bite. If you do hook one, the other one's, you've got a line in the water in the way. So that's my plan. One rod, bivvied up, instead of bivvying up in the swim, I put the bivvy up behind the camera at the moment, out of the way. Got to keep everything as quiet as possible. So only one line in the water at the prime times and take it out the rest of the time. going to get up about 3-4 o'clock in the morning to the low chair and just sit down next to the rod through bite time. Sort of make them think there's no one in here really. That's the plan. Let's see how it works out. Well, as you can see, I have put out a second rod after all. I waded it up that margin yesterday evening, and at midnight last night I actually caught my first carp. My first one of the year. I would have videoed him, set up all the lights and what have you, but he was a little common, about mid-doubles, and he was extremely lively, thrashing about all over the place, so I just slipped him straight back. But as you could see there, the recast was a little bit tricky for, I think I had him at midnight, so I won't go in for all that again. End up filling my waders. So it's about 5 o'clock now. Sort of in two minds whether to put that rod back out up there, because if I hook one on the main rod I know it's going to end up trying to get up there. That's why I'm using the back leads this morning. I still think one rod's probably the best bet in here, but then if I'd only used one rod I wouldn't have caught one yet, would I? So here we are, waiting for the morning bite, waiting for that big one. I heard a couple out there, sort of under the island somewhere. You can see that goose out the back there, and where that swan's just coming through. There was sort of a couple crashed out in that area last night. There's still a few about. Right, I did a cup of tea. There's not a lot happening this morning. Certainly nowhere near as lively as it was last week in here. But there are one or maybe two fish bubbling up out there, just where them geese went through. Sort of nearly behind them pads, but just to the right of them. A couple of big fizzers come up. Last week you could see about a dozen or more patches of bubbles all at the same time. And that's what you need, that little bit of competition for feeding. It seemed to like the swim when it's left alone. When you wound in and went to wander around yesterday and come back a few hours later, the fish had moved in a lot closer. It's like as soon as they see one line they just keep right out the back. But you ain't going to catch them without a line in the water, unfortunately. Padwar has found himself a little mate to play with. Here he is. Little puppy Patterdale. Been charging about like the lunatics they have right until I got the camera out. Now it's stopped. Typical. Go on in. Go on in. Go on. Get off my foot. Go on. Thinks he's a Rottweiler. He's attacking you, bad boy. I think he's got ideas above his station somehow. Oh. Mayhem. Absolute mayhem. They are impossible to film. Right, let's have a look, see what we got for today. Cornwall, do we? Glasses, that one you can see too. We have 22 degrees, east and southeast winds, no rain, Scorchio, that's what we've got. And tomorrow, oh god, tomorrow we've got down all day, 100% cloud, east southeast winds, a bit cooler, 16 degrees. Oh, that's a wet one. Proper wet. And Wednesday we've got wet, a bit warmer. Oh, weekend looks poor. Yeah, 10 degrees at the weekend. But we ain't worried about the weekend. So hot today, wet tomorrow. With that man Dave Little, with the friendly common that isn't so friendly.
So friendly no more.
When was it last caught?
3 years ago.
3 years ago. That should be called the miserable common.
So we're a little upset today, don't we?
The antisocial one. Right, you...
Just out here in the sling, got in with it. I said, can I touch it? I said, can I touch it? I was getting the one that we touched about. See if it felt like it looked like it. Okay. Zeus. Zeus. Oh. Zeus, come here. Come here.
I've got to edit this video.
Oh man, she's beautiful.
She's on it.
Look
Look at the pet.
Zeus and
Yeah.
Nice one.
Proper old one. Oh my days.
Whoa.
My days.
There she is.
Alright.
There he is. See?
Oh, what?
Come on, Rito.
Love them channels. Alright, ready boys and girls?
Yep, they've got cyclists coming through.
They ain't going to stop, are they?
Yeah. Paddy here. Paddy here.
That's Ross. It's only Ross.
Oh my god.
Is that bike there with the bloody...
Yeah, mate.
What's your answer?
Pulling away.
All that time on.
Right, video's going off. I'm going to swap to camera. Right, true St Ives style, because Dave's caught. What have you caught?
Friendly common!
Friendly common. We're going to have a barbecue and speckled hen. Everyone say hey.
And Stella.
Hey! And Stella.
Stella.
Awesome dead animal.
Awesome proper red wine.
Like some red wine. So quite a lot of alcohol and a little bit of meat. Cheers. Well done.
Thank you, boss.
Hey.
Right there, water.
We've no idea what's just turned up, but look at this.
It's got blended in.
Can you see him? Can you see him?
Are you off stalking? Yes, mate, you're off stalking.
Congratulations, mate.
Oh God, he's got fire marshal written on his back, and we've got barbecues going.
Just in
It's
case.
that smoke signal just on me,
Yeah.
on me brake. So.
I normally go for a luminous yellow
Oh,
one.
yeah.
We have got a bucket of water to hand, haven't we? A fire bucket.
Yeah, definitely somewhere. Just in the lake and it's a bit wet still. Buzzing.
There you are, mate.
It's a bit of a different morning this morning, isn't it? As they forecast, though, they did say it was going to rain all day today. I got that bit right. Well, I had another fish in the night, last night, on that short rod around the corner. But sort of as expected, it was a small one, because the only fish I saw around there yesterday were small ones. A little common, I don't know how big. I've got him in the sack, I'll get him out in a minute. Wait for this drizzle to give up. But regardless of that, today I am going to move. It's still really busy out in the main bit of the lake, but I know there's at least a couple, maybe 3 going home today, so a bit of a shift round and I'm going to be part of it. Just can't sit in here any longer. So although I know there's fish here, I sort of didn't see any of the bigger ones. I suppose the biggest ones were a couple of commons that might scrape 30 pounds. And although they're nice to catch anything really, I ain't here for 20s. Little shabumpkin, isn't he? Massive great tail, look at that. Didn't really fight at all though. Handy where I caught it. I mean easy, didn't it, mate?